ultimatum. He wants to continue running away. Gale Force, everything, the whole kitchen sink, but it don't matter. They still killed the Trindamere, and they force out the flash from Vulcan 2. Evil Geniuses is on the run. They will trade the Drake for 1 death.
That is Zeri's flash, which is a really big deal here. But Zeri got a 1K shutdown. That is so huge. As Luger already completed the Titanic before that, so he is getting very, very strong. No one close to Soul still, so CLG's chances in this game are getting more and more realistic. They were way behind, but off the Baron pick, off of really, honestly, a lot of different picks throughout this game that they've been able to find. They've been making great use of this Zeri, just be able to join teammates over the wall, dash in, you're bringing the cat along for the ride, and if someone else has already started up the fight, your ability to chase down these targets is so good.
And look at the itemization, man. Trinity, Titanic, Runons, and Black Cleaver coming up next. Remember that Black Cleaver, like, is becoming a more common item these days. It wasn't built by a long time for pretty much anybody, but this thing has not only the armor shred that people remember from back when it was popular, but movement speed with the stacks too. That matters a lot for a champion like Zeri that's trying to stack that up constantly.
And she gets full stacks off 1Q, so it's pretty damn strong. Just a lot of powerful item interactions with Titanic plus Hurricane, also with this, so the Black Cleaver even completed, so he is very, very threatening now. He's a full item up on Danny, who was monstrously strong in the early game. You know, Danny was the one that was kind of feeling like he was going to run away with this game, but Danny has been caught out multiple times here, has been picked off, and Luger showing a great game. People were very excited about this Luger Poom bot lane from Lock-in. They showed a lot of bright spots, and now looking for a pick here.
Okay, Evil Geniuses aren't going to get a whole lot. CLG neither. However, CLG look like they're still looking for something. They're not really afraid here. They're willing to trust in Luger and the potential of the Zeri carry. But how well is that going to work when they're just going to get caught out? Contracts is down. Impact now already using the ulti. He'll have to see what else he can find here in the middle. Palafox likely to be dead next. He will die to Impact's auto attack. But Luger is still alive, and Luger's still got Poom. He gets away over the wall. Luger's trying to provide the damage if he can. He's the only one who can do it. Jojo Pune trying to get away now. Luger's still looking for the angle. He's got move speed. Can he go through the wall? Yes, he will. Luger just headshots Impact, taking him down. He's ready to keep this party train rolling. Double kill for the AD carry. CLG ain't done yet. Luger keeps on going. He is fast as hell. And CLG have found their footing and more.
They just can't get onto this Zeri. He plays by the wall, even if they lock him down for a second, unless you can full 100 his hero, which is tough to do. I mean, he has a lot of health actually in the build now with the Titanic, plus this Black Cleaver, and the Yuumi strapped to him, healing him back up. He is such a problem. They need to be able to get a kick in, almost push him away from that terrain, or you can't chase him down, you can't actually knock him down. And EG was a little lucky that the ultimate fell off. The move speed stacks did fall off from Luger, so he didn't continue the chase because there was a potential pentakill angle there, and now they're just straight onto the Baron once more.
You know, this gold graph almost looks like a really threatening, like, blood red sky sunset if you look at it as the black being mountains and the red is the sky in the background, but that's kind of the world EG are living in right now.
It's like one of those paint splotch things.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah. Apparently, like, I just see Nightmare World, and that's what EG is seeing playing against this Derek.
Yeah, that's what I see every time I play against Derek, which is why I picked. So, you can see this one more time. Contract very early stopwatch. Luger ults over the wall here. They do get the kick. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or if he intended to kick in the Viego, but there was multiple characters stacked, and Inspired did kick in the Viego. Viego goes down, but Luger's dancing around the side, constantly keeping these stacks up here. Even when he gets rooted, he gets hooked in. He is too close to the wall. Inspired doesn't have a hook here, or rather kick there, so he can just come right back around. Again, just constantly hitting that Q over and over and over. Finds the angle as EG splits up to go in, burst him down, knocks down Impact here. The chase continues on to Jojo. And Jojo, with the turn and root, was actually a pretty smart play, because if he doesn't just sacrifice himself there, I think Inspired and Vulcan both get caught up too. I think Danny gets caught up too. And that's maybe everyone dead.
Well, we've got 20 seconds until our next Drake fight. It is 2-2 in the count, so whoever gets this one gets to go to Soul Point. There is also no Baron on the table since CLG is wearing it. That means that there's no threat of having to split the map up. They're totally confident in the current state of things right now. EG's on the back foot. The game is really, really impressively in CLG's favor after how bad things were looking earlier.
They were down, I want to say 5-6K at one point, so it looked like it was going to be EG just running away with it, but man, you give Zeri an inch and she takes a mile. Like, Zeri Yuumi is one of the most deadly compositions in the late game. Like, those two alone, it doesn't really matter what else is around them. It's
just somebody that can take hits for them, right? Just throw everybody else into the meat grinder because Zeri and Yuumi will get you a pentakill. Just give them 3 seconds.
Zeri scales so insanely well. And Yuumi is really going to amp that up. Give you that safety, give you that additional chase power with not only the speed up, but the slow down from your prowling projectile and the ultimate to peel. Double combat summoners to keep you safe. So it's really, really, really tough to deal with. And EG are struggling to actually close that gap. They're not playing through sides anymore because they're the ones getting pushed in here by this Baron. But you can't just walk through the CLG team to try to get to Zeri, and you can't ignore the Zeri. So they're feeling like they're having a tough go of it right now.
Whenever I play against Tristana, I call this the point of relief in the game. Because Tristana is now stuck in his base. You're no longer playing his PvE side quest where you have to constantly stop him on the other end of the map where you just automatically lose. And it just feels like you have so much more room to breathe. You can play the game however you like. It's your map to set up vision. It's your map to take the camps. And for CLG, it's your map to do whatever you want right now.
Absolutely. And it kind of just makes you wonder, though, with how ahead Impact was, and still is, to be honest, shouldn't he have just continued just running down that side lane instead of grouping to fight, right? Because it felt like EG said, all right, we're enough ahead that even though Tristana is not the best team fighting champion, we can just group and win team fights anyway, right? And it hasn't really been the case for them. So Impact's lead has not meant as much. I mean, he was an entire IE above Jenkins. Now Jenkins is closing the gap somewhat, but Impact has had 2 monstrous Tristana games. The other one was a loss, and this one feels like it's heading this way.
Yep, also want to point out CLG sort of doing what we were talking about here, saying, look, you've got the Yuumi, you've got the super fed Zeri, whatever else doesn't really matter. And so when you're looking at Jenkins, you're looking at contracts, they're both going for these nice defensive options here. Sterix, which has lost a lot of popularity after some of the changes to it, that's going to be purchased for Jenkins to survive some of the bursts when he dives in. Contract just going for the Guardian Angel, saying, look, it's okay if I die, I'll come back, I just have to create space for Zeri. Again, that's all you got to do. She'll do the rest.
Yep. Zeri's the main character in this game, for sure. Everyone sees, oh, nice hook!
Oh, but they caught the main character, and the series is canceled. Palafox now trying to get away, but the Realm Warp's going to cut him off as Impact continues looking for it. Contracts nearly dies, but he stays alive thanks to Boom. Evil Geniuses, they caught the 2 enemy carries, but here's the thing, Isaac. What's there to take on the map? There's no rewards. The boss dropped no loot.
Yeah, all they get is a little bit of time here, unfortunately for them, but Vulcan, great setup. They weren't expecting him to be that far forward in the brush. Catches Luger with the hook, punishing him there. Both the fights that feel like they went super well for EG were actually Vulcan catching Luger. When you think back to the Dragon Pit where he flashed over the wall and landed the hook, and then again here, instantly they go in, and if you get caught by that hook, everything else follows through. There's the root, there's the kick, there's JoJo ulting in, there's Kai's ulting in. Everyone is collapsing here, trying to burst down this area as fast as they possibly can. But you said it, there was no objectives to claim on the map. Luger with the frustration here. They used everything for me, come on! No one can block the hook.
There's such a stark contrast between the frustration there and the frustration earlier in the Dragon Pit when the game was in so much more dire straits. A death at a point like this, that just shows you how confident they are in this data thing. It's just like, come on, man. You're more entertained by the fact that everything blew you up instead of frustrated by it.
And maybe he did feel like, hey, Boom could have detached and blocked that. I mean, it's a tough one to do. If someone blocks it, he's probably chilling. But EG getting pushed out of their own jungle. They've already lost their mid and bot inhibitor. Does mean that there's a ton of farm being funneled their way, and you can see the items are coming through. Danny's full build, right? Yeah. The game has felt way more about this area than it has about the Kai'Sa, but Danny has that threat. And if you can land the CC onto the backline and he ults in, gets a few crits with the IE, you will burst somebody. Impact as well is on 4 items. There's 3 stopwatches. The entire top side for EG has a stopwatch now. Tryndamere, Ride, and leads in. And it's a full-on Morello for JoJo, so they really want to cut this healing. But CLG are just going to start up the Baron here, try to pull them over there, make this fight happen.
Oh, Palafox, nice taunt from Pixel Brush. They grab a couple and guarantee 1 kill there immediately. Now Luger's looking to continue the chase. Jenkins applies the Hextech ultimatum to Impact. That's going to lock the Tryndamere down. He dies before he can press R! Oh, that's got to be the end of the game right there. CLG get 3 for nothing. Impact dies to the burst before he can react, and CLG has a full 5-man push down mid.
Jojo and Danny, it's all up to them, but no shot you can defend this one. CLG look like they're going to close it out. Would be back-to-back wins for them. A huge one here against EG.
Oh, Jojo's got nowhere to go here. Danny's likely to just die as Jenkins chases him down. Pop the stopwatch, why not? Danny's still looking for the damage, but can't find it with a Void Seeker there. He comes right back out. Palafox wants to taunt him up. Yes, he's got a Guardian Angel. No, it's not gonna matter. Luger wants to pad the stats a little bit further. They're gonna grab 1. Are they going to make it 2? I think they just might. Vulcan keeps on eating bullets, and CLG's eating good. Evil geniuses fall, and CLG takes the win.
Nice comeback there from CLG, finding some really good picks, team fighting incredibly well, and showing why Zeri remains permabanned almost all the time here. Luger with a great game on the pick. Him and Poom from the bot lane carrying pretty hard, it felt like, in this one. Really good stuff out of the CLG bot lane.
We've been praising Luger. His positioning on the champion was great. As you already mentioned, always near walls, ready to play around what Zeri's strengths are. And I really just want to give some extra thumbs up over to Poom too, playing the Yuumi in a way that was always able to jump back and forth onto these targets. I know that it sounds generally weird to praise the Yuumi play because I'm always the guy making the jokes about, just plug the Guitar Hero controller in and hit the whammy bar to ult. But in those fights, like specifically when EG were really far ahead, even the thing where he just jumps off, takes a hit, saves them. Yeah, there is skill expression on Yuumi in moments like that, and it's very important to be able to hit those checks and make sure that you're doing it right.
No, I agree completely. I was just smiling because it's funny hearing it from you, because you're definitely not a Yuumi enthusiast.
Credit where credit is due. I am happy to levy those praises when they are deserved, and Luger and Poom deserve it.
And I think that's you're totally right. You know, that is where you can see the really high-level Yuumi players who are detaching, blocking skill shots, tanking things for their AD, understanding exactly when they need to detach, when they need to just ride the wave and just go along.
Yeah, just have a good time.
So I think it was really, really well played from there. EG definitely going to want that one back, but this one felt like more of a comeback than a throw to me. This felt like the actually did a really good job in that vision. When you look back to that first Baron that they got off those skills in mid lane, where they had actually snuck into the brush, and EG had this feeling of safety because Pixel Brush was warded, but they were already in the side brush. They kill off Danny, they kill off Inspired, they get the Baron. Great comeback from CLG.
Well, now that the game's done, we're joining La Tigris and the Yuumi god himself. Boom for our Verizon post-game interview.
Yay! Yuumi God got Poom on the stage for the Verizon post-game interview after the CLG victory. That actually kind of leans into one of the questions I wanted to ask you anyways. Supports tend to feel some type of way when playing the kitty cat. I know she's really good when paired with Zeri, though. So what do you make of the pick?
Yeah, I mean, Zeri Yuumi is like really known combo like throughout the world, so the champ's really strong, especially with Zeri, because she's a super safe champ. She dashes over walls, and the champ is really OP. Has a lot of movement speed, so it's really safe. The safe pick to pick with Zeri.
So impactful in the late game too. This was a situation where EG had a lot of early control. How do you feel CLG were able to bring it back?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of nervous in the early game. I think when we got a couple of kills on Zeri, and especially when we got the shutdown on Tryndamere, like the 1k gold on Zeri, I was just giving confidence to my team. You know, like me and Luger could like 2v9 that game. Even if our team lost their flashes or their fights, like Zeri is just gonna 1v9. So.
It was a different bot lane in general than we have seen for a lot of this season, in part because of how the bans went. Kaisa being brought out by Danny for the first time since summer of 2021. How did that impact the way that you all played the game because it was such a departure?
Well, I think we expected it. I was expecting Samira because it's kind of his known pick. But we were expecting like a ADC that kind of goes in because they pair it with Nautilus. So Camille Galio is really strong versus like dive AD carries. So we were expecting it in draft, yeah.
Both of these teams came to the stage today after having some victories as of late, a bit of that upward momentum. You just cut through that for EG. So what are your thoughts on CLG coming out of the Super Week?
Well, we for sure definitely still have stuff to improve on, you know, like as a team and individual. So hopefully this shows that, like, you know, like we can compete, but we still have to improve a lot to like beat other top teams like TL.
Always improvement oriented with all of you. Poom, thank you so much for stopping by the stage.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this game and the epic comeback a bit more on the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you so much, Tigers. And what a comeback it was out of CLG to push themselves to 3-6 in the first round robin. We're going to dive straight in because we've got a lot to cover here, starting in the draft. And I'm actually going to come to you first on this, Parth, because as we were watching it all unfold, you actually mentioned how you think Camille Galio, which we saw Poom just speak about on the stage, is a pretty valuable pairing of champions, at least in the early parts of the season.
Yeah, so I think when you're starting the season, a lot of teams are really uncoordinated, trying to figure out like what they want to do, how they want to play team fights. Camille Galio gives like direction, right? Like you know exactly how you want to fight. Camille goes in, isolates the target, Galio jumps on him, and then everyone else just has to follow up. So I think it just gives teams who are struggling or need to have a little bit more leeway in terms of coordinating, like a clear direction. So I really like the pickup for them.
We saw this from CLG last year as well. Obviously, in my opinion, it wasn't paired with as strong of a combination as Yuumi and Zeri. Yuumi can also attach to the Camille in this team composition. The thing I do want to point out, there was no Hecarim in this draft, which kind of surprised me. The AD bans, Gabby already mentioned when she was talking to Luger. And then also, I do actually think that EG have side lane pressure and a response to try to break up what Zeri and Yuumi want to do in terms of fights. So I do think EG actually had an answer, and their early game was good with their composition, but then once they started grouping, they weren't going to win a lot of those fights.
Yeah, it's easy to focus on kind of like what Galio and Camille try and do in terms of isolating and diving, but what really made it difficult for Evil Geniuses is, of course, like if they're trying to dive into you. The way they were playing Trinamir, of course, Kaisa and Nautilus's picks, like if there was ever a time in which they were trying to dive on the Zeri, sometimes messed up, of course, or on any of the prime targets for CLG. Perfect. Like we have options there. We can Galio ulti to defend a little bit more, and then Camille ulti, as a flank, a primary carry in this case, the Kaisa. So I actually thought it was really difficult for them to try and dive in as a fight.
Oh, and we saw this throughout this game, back and forth, right? They saw the successes of Evil Geniuses when they were able to get on top of that Zeri and eliminate her, but also we saw the flip side of it as well, right? When the Galio and the Camille can create the space and keep Zeri alive long enough for her to start pushing the team fights.
Yeah, Luger jumps into the pit like, no, Luger! Great call from Jojo Pyun and Vulcan to be able to just isolate him. So like those are the great successes that they were able to have in fights like these. Of course, still a great play from Contracts to at least take the dragon so they can delay a little bit so it wasn't a complete lost fight. But that's what was keeping Evil Geniuses in the game with fights like these.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, too, right, it's what established the lead that they had in the comeback, therefore, that CLG had to mount. Now, Grubhub's got you covered all super weekend long with delivery that is on time at the lowest price, or they'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Now, use the code LCS10 on all Grubhub orders to receive $10 off on orders over $25, up to 5,000 orders. Terms do apply there. But in this game, it was none other than Luger himself who delivered the win for the squad. I want to say, if nothing else, for picking the champions area, but we'll also call out this play here, too, which felt like a pretty good thing.
Yeah, also shout out to Poom because a huge part of this is the Yuumi attaching to the Zeri. But yeah, Zeri in these team fights is just absolutely going to take over the entire game, even in man advantages, right? Where EG think that they can actually come out ahead in this. No, like Yuumi Zeri is just gonna run over them. And they play this in tandem so well.
Yeah, I mean, Zeri was eating good.
She's quite bad.
Yep.
Yeah, delivery was on time.
Yeah. Talking about up to $5,000 in the order. This one was up to $1K on
so well priced you ordered dessert as well. Either way, it is pretty amazing to me, and we were talking about this as well, just in the context of bringing it all back to draft part. It's just this idea that EG left that champion open, right? And this has only been done a couple times here so far in the LCS split. So it typically, where you would want to assume, it indicates they feel they have the answer to it. And this time, they didn't so much.
Yeah, so usually when you're approaching really strong picks like this as a coaching staff or as players, there's multiple reasons you can give it up. Either you feel like they're not strong enough, and in like very specific cases you have an answer to it. Other times it's like if you show that you're willing to leave it up, it makes it really hard for other teams later on to guess if you're going to leave it up or not, and complicates their draft. I also know on the coach side, if you leave a champion like this up, and if it doesn't work and you lose against it, your players are just going to come back and be like, I told you this champion's going to ban it. So.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up, though, that EG did have answers to this, right?
Yep.
Like, I did think that their early game was well thought out. I thought they attacked it bot side. I thought they had some really good cross-map plays where even when CLG would get a kill, they, again, would be responding elsewhere on the map, especially top side through impact. So I think there is a world where maybe they could have stuck to side lane split pushing. I'm just saying, think about it.
I will. I'm going to spend
Yes,
the next
Gab,
at least
go
30
home and think
seconds
about it.
thinking about that. Parth, I'm curious how you land on this 3-6 record that CLG now sports. Like, how does this compare to what your preconceived notions of this roster would maybe be able to perform here in the spring split?
I think they definitely have developing pieces. I mean, I think Luger is a really strong piece, and I think it was one of their key acquisitions. And this team is kind of trying to figure out the way their identity around this one player. And you saw that despite the rest of the game potentially not going well, solo lanes weren't working out for them, he's still able to carry. He's able to take the ball, and he showed that last year in Academy, and he's showing it now against much stronger opponents. So I think he's like the key person you want to watch is look at CLG moving forward.
By all accounts, a sharp uptick here at the end of the first round robin for CLG. For EG, cobbled together a decent weekend, but still fall just below 500. Coming up, we got FlyQuest hoping for some sunnier skies today when they take on the formidable Cloud9 right after this.
Palafox gonna die. The dragon goes over to the side of CLG. Contract's trying to go to Reset City, but I'm sorry, sir, the city's closed. Oh, however, you want to talk about high damage. Say goodbye to Danny. Say goodbye to Inspired. He's got move speed. Can he go through the wall? Yes, he will. Luger just headshots.
He's gonna keep
Impact
going.
taking him down. He's ready to keep this party train rolling. Double kill for the AD carry. CLG ain't done yet.
Initializing legendary moments.
Take a look while you can, because if you blink, you'll miss it.
I'm sure you've heard the news.
Gold, gold, and more gold.
Here comes the big play. Oh, that's perfect timing. You can see this one coming.
They get what they need. They got the mid. They got the support. They got the top.
Are they going to give you some fun League of Legends? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to the LCS.
FTX, official cryptocurrency exchange partner of the LCS.
Let me get in Sequence complete. Rampage. Here comes the boom. Unstoppable. Shut down. You're gonna need a bigger castle. Your team has destroyed a turret. Enemy killing spree. Shut down.
I think Blabber is kind of similar to Inspire. I would say he's a bit more crazy in the game because there is some place that he will go for that maybe other donors won't go, and sometimes there are ins and sometimes it's really good. So, and sometimes as it's not the best, you won't expect him to go for it, but it's good because you didn't expect it. So I think that's really good for him. I also respect him a lot because in 1v1 he's really good. Anytime I fight with him 1v1, he always flashes his skills, we all flash, so it's really good to play with him all the time.
I love hearing a word from Jose Diodo on his opponent in this next matchup, Blabber for Cloud9. Yeah, you know, a number of plays that you expect, and they can either go good or bad, but those might be my favorite plays, the ones that you don't expect. And
Yeah.
good just because you don't expect it, right?
Especially if you're on a good team and he's like, is he like doing this for a reason? And so you don't go for it. You look at him afterwards, like, I gotta kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man, you removed the fog of war, and that was an easy decision. Either way, it does kind of speak to the style that Jose is up against when it comes to this matchup against Cloud9. But when we talk about Cloud9, I actually want to go back towards the bot lane because Blabber, to a degree, for as wild a player he is a known quantity. We've seen him on Cloud9 for a number of years at this point. We kind of know what we're going to get from him. What I have been so pleasantly surprised by this split has been the performance of Berserker.
Yeah, he's been a real shocker. I mean, people have always kind of heard about him, especially when the pipe was coming in from like LS when the team was initially being built. We were expecting a lot, and when he came in his initial Aphelios performances, it was just really damn good. And not just that, aggressive. Like, even hearing from when he was going up against Golden Guardians in the first week, right? And Olive, who was the victor at the time, was like really surprised. He's like, he flashed over the wall. I was like, what? Does he know something that I don't? No, his Aphelios has just been too damn fun to watch.
He has made Aphelios into a melee champion. I do want to touch one thing with Berserker coming over here, because watching him in Champions Korea, I can't reiterate enough how good he was individually, mechanically, but how he also wasn't making these aggressive plays, which again speaks to the fact that he trusts his teammates enough to keep him safe and or follow up in a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, and I think Berserker